Today I'll be reviewing the CRZ or CRZ Yoga. I've seen it pronounced so many different ways. 2-in-1 workout shorts. So 3 pros that come along with this short include number 1, the versatility of this short. Honestly, I felt like this was gonna be one of those budget shorts where they're okay for some general stuff, but they kind of fall short when you get more serious with your training. Overall, this short has honestly impressed me. And now a couple of pieces of context here to note about my preference in workout shorts. Right now, I have like 3 go-tos, and that includes the Luca short from Legends, the interval short from 10,000, and the Pursuit short from Roan. All of those shorts are a little bit more premium. They tend to breathe a little bit better, be a little bit more lightweight. This short, I feel like, has held its own. Now, it's not without a couple of cons, but when it comes to just overall versatility for lifting, cross-training, short runs, high rocks focused workouts, just general wear, this short has felt good, especially for the price point. So if you want that short that's good for a little bit of everything, you like to vary your training, you train more athletically, this can be a great option to go with. And that brings me into my second pro, which I kind of just alluded to, and that is the price point. So in this economy, not everybody has over $60 to drop on a pair of more premium training shorts. This short comes in at around $32, and I feel like for that price point, you get a pretty high performing short that doesn't necessarily overly feel budget. Now, that said, whenever you buy some of the more budget friendly shorts like this from Amazon and other outlets, you can always kind of feel that they're not as premium as other brands, but this short, you kind of get that, but not to a grandiose degree, which honestly I was a big fan of. And what's interesting with this short is that they've actually started to feel better as I've worn them more. So if you get them out of the bag from Amazon, they're a little bit crispy. Just give them a couple sessions, I'm telling you, they actually feel better. That usually goes with most shorts, and they've held up well. So I feel like for $32, honestly, this could be a really good short for anybody who wants to get a budget-friendly pair or even get 2 pairs of shorts, so 2 $32 pairs for the price of 1 normal premium shorts from some of these other brands. The third pro that I have with this short is the built-in liner. So if you're somebody who likes a medium to slightly higher compressive liner, this can be a good option to go with. This gives you a nice level of lockdown. So if you're doing a lot of jumping, if you're doing sprinting, any form of running, or any form of power-focused lift, so think like power cleans, dumbbell snatches, any form of kettlebell flow, this liner is going to give you good lockdown. And when it just comes to overall security, the waistband and the pockets, they're pretty standard as well, which we could count as like a 3.5 Pro. Honestly though, I feel like in this day and age in 2025, having a decent waistband with good security and good pockets, it should be the standard. We should not have shorts at this point that don't have those features. But now let's talk about a couple of cons that I have noticed with this short. All right, so the first con with this short is that with their price being a little bit lower, you can always expect materials to just not be as ventilated, as premium feeling. And where I've noticed that with this short is with its sweat wicking and its breathability. This short doesn't have the best sweat wicking, so if you are extremely sweaty, this is gonna be one of those shorts where it's a one and done, you gotta throw them in the wash because they are gonna be damp. I actually just wrapped up a High Rocks-esque workout and these are still pretty dang wet. The liner holds onto water and that just kind of comes with the trade. This is a very heavy polyester short. So when you have that, you're not gonna have as much sweat wicking. And this polyester too, it just doesn't feel as ventilated as other models out there. So if you train in hotter climates or if you just typically run a little bit warmer and you sweat a lot, definitely keep in mind that this is not gonna be your best short when it comes to sweat wicking and overall breathability. The second con that I have with this short is that the shell, despite having a decent stretch for what it's worth, it's not going to give you a ton of stretch if you have super meaty thighs. And now I'll talk about this more in my sizing section to come, but if you are a bodybuilder or somebody who has a lot of girth on your quads, glutes, hamstrings, adductors, this short may not give you enough stretch. I think for guys like myself who have a little bit of meat on their legs, or for thinner guys, this short will work really well. It's not gonna get hung up a ton, but for my meaty thigh fellas out there, you may wanna consider that with this short and go with something like an old jersey short or go with something that's purposely built larger with its gusset for the leg. My third con with this short, and this is just one of my personal preferences, is just how big and thick the waistband is. So this waistband is pretty big. I generally like thinner waistbands. I typically find that they breathe a bit better. They don't hold as much sweat because where you get a lot of sweat holding in this short, it's up here on this waistband. Now again, $32, you gotta compromise in some areas and I feel like the waistband is definitely an area where you're compromising in this short. So all that said, security's not a bad thing, but this short's waistband does feel heavy and it's gonna hold on to sweat. So if that's a big knock against a short for you typically, you'll definitely wanna consider that with the short before you invest. All right, so now let's answer who should buy this short. Number 1, budget shoppers. I feel like if you need an all-in-one short and you like a built-in liner, this is a pretty dang safe bet. $32 and it does a really good job. despite having a couple of cons with its overall material structure. The second person who should buy this short, I think, is the person who wants a short for more athletic style workouts. So you like to blend a little bit of plyos, maybe some sprints, maybe some short runs with your lifting. This short should do a really good job at giving you a nice performance, and the compression of the liner should give you a good level of lockdown for the goods to avoid them flopping around or just feeling very uncomfortable in your workout. The third person that I think should invest in this short is if you honestly work in colder climates and you want a short that is a little bit heavier and keeps heat in. That could also be a perk with this short. I think it's a knock against this short for hot climates, but for colder climates, I could actually see that being a perk with this short. Now, who shouldn't buy this short? Number one, if you need max stretch and wispiness and sweat wicking with your materials, pass on this short. I'm telling you, it will likely hold too much sweat for you. You're gonna get annoyed at the waterlogged feeling of this short, and you'll wanna pass on this model. The second is that if you are somebody who does a lot of HIIT and you want a short primarily for running, on Amazon, this is like a 2-in-1 running short. I would say probably go for something that's a bit more wispier and lighter weight. That is a common theme of this entire review. This might be a bit heavier in my opinion for running. Also with the pocket structure, you may want something that's a little bit more dialed for running specifically if that is a huge part of your workouts and your asks and shorts. The third con that I have with this short is if you're like me and you just like a little bit more of a minimalist waistband, that would definitely be something to consider with this short. Again, we have a pretty substantial waistband in this short, and that can be very hit or miss depending on your personal preferences with your shorts feel. It honestly kind of limits this short's overall ability for daily wear if you just feel very comfortable and easy to wear. I like something that's less bunchy on my waist, and this short is definitely not going to give you that lightweight feel if that's what you're after. These mirrors are trippy, but sizing guide. Okay, so a medium runs a 32-inch waist. I have about a 32 to 33-inch waist. I'm about 6 foot, and I'm about 178 to 180 pounds, and I generally wear medium in my shorts. So you can see how these fit. These are the 7-inch liner, and it's a 2-in-1 built-in liner. CRZ Yoga shorts. Overall fit is really solid. I don't have the medium size, but I do have a little bit of girth on my quads, and these tend to feel pretty good. They don't get hung up too much, which I like. But as mentioned before, like you might find that this is a little bit limiting regarding the shell diameter if you have super meaty thighs. So for my bodybuilding guys out there who have much bigger legs than me, I would say potentially look into other options that have a bit more stretch than these guys. If you're looking for budget shorts, you could probably find a good pair of like jersey shorts or old gym shorts that would definitely fare better for your needs. But 7-inch built-in liner, CRZ Yoga medium shorts, 32-inch waist, fit really true. And if I do the drawstring out, there's still enough elastic here to not feel overly loose, which I personally really like. Like they're not too loose to where they're sliding around. All right, guys, that wraps up my review of the CRZ, CRZ Yoga, whatever it might be, 2-in-1 workout shorts. Honestly, I've been impressed with this short. For $32, it does a really good job across the board. It does have a couple of cons, but when you compare it to shorts out there that cost $68, $78, $85 plus, I feel like it can honestly hold its own, especially for my folks out there who might not have the budget right now or just want a short for a little bit of everything and they're a little bit more generalist in the gym. If you have additional questions on this short, drop a comment down below or reach out to me personally, whichever you prefer. And as always, y'all, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys in the next one.